I am joined now by Eric Anderson, the host of YXE Underground, which is the podcast that shines a light on Saskatoon and area's unsung heroes. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, as always, Jeremy.
So the new episode is out.
Yes.
Who are you featuring?
Two amazing women, Kara Brox and Tammy Turner. And Kara Brox is a speech-language pathologist here in the city, and Tammy Turner is an occupational therapist. And they are doing some really incredible work with the University of Saskatchewan. So since many years, there has not been a master's program for speech-language pathology or a master's program for occupational therapy in our province. So if you were a student and wanted to study those professions, you would have to leave the province. But Kara and Tammy are designing master's programs for speech-language pathology and occupational therapy at the University of Saskatchewan. The program launches, both programs launch in September of 2026, but this fall they are going to be receiving applications. And they're so excited. Like they have been working and advocating for decades for the creation of these programs because it's going to make such a big difference. And now they're working very hard to make these programs go from idea to reality. The
culmination of like your life's work almost is pretty special. Okay, help me out though. I think I know occupational therapy is like getting someone who maybe is injured back able to work again.
Yes.
What is speech-language pathology?
Yeah, so this is something I know very well because when I was 4 years old, I went to a speech-language pathologist and worked with one for 3 years because I had trouble forming words. I just couldn't talk. And so the work that speech-language pathologists do is very close to my heart. And they work with people from kids all the way to, you could be a senior perhaps recovering from a stroke and learning to get your ability to speak again. But just working with people to improve their ability to communicate. And I think that's something that a lot of us take for granted is just, when we have a thought in our minds, we're able to express it in a verbal way. And for a lot of people, that's not the case. There might be some challenges. So speech-language pathologists do some amazing work. And then, as you said, occupational therapies as well do amazing work with people of all ages too. So the fact that now people will be able to stay in Saskatchewan and study these great professions is a real game changer. You said why it was close to your heart. Why are Kara and Tammy so into this project? Yeah, so they have seen firsthand the impact of their work. Tammy has worked with the universities across Canada to develop their occupational therapy programs, and herself as being an OT, she sees the work that occupational therapists do, and it's been hard for her to see so many young people leave the province to go and study and perhaps not come back because they've established roots. And for Kara, she tells me in the podcast that she's actually been writing letters since 2007 to the university, to MLAs, to the Ministry of Health, saying this is something we need because the demand for speech-language pathologists is so high in our province, and there just aren't enough. And it's the same thing. People go away to study and they don't come back. So Kara and Tammy are so excited that now there's going to be 40 spots to be a speech-language pathologist or 40 spots to be an occupational therapist to stay here in the province, establish those roots, and help meet that demand. And you, as a child, taking on these services, and years later, guy with a podcast that's gone for a decade. I know. Amazing. It's kind of funny. Like, I couldn't talk when I was a kid, and now people tell me to maybe you talk too much, Eric. So I would never say that. Yeah, but it's amazing work what they do. Where can people go to find this? I mean, like I said, near a decade, but this latest episode as well. So you can find it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or the website, YXEUnderground.com. Eric, thank you so much. Thanks, Jeremy.